Growing your business is tough, but don't worry, we've got you covered. We interview industry experts on how they've solved their most challenging business problems in SaaS or e-commerce. No fluff, just step-by-step playbooks to help you dominate your market and crush the competition. This is the How We Solve podcast. Here's your host.
Hey everyone, Dave here with the How We Solve podcast. Today I am talking with Catharine Arnston from ENERGYbits. Catharine is the CEO and founder of ENERGYbits, which is an innovative nutritional company that sells algae tablets, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Catharine, how are you doing today? Thanks for being with us.
Yeah, very well. I'm supercharged. I'm full of algae.
We expect nothing less, of course. So this is definitely an interesting product, one that I have not encountered before. Tell us a little bit about why algae, the product, and kind of the history of your business.
Sure. I started it over 10 years ago, and it was actually, I have an MBA and I was doing international corporate work. Wasn't anything to do with nutrition, and certainly not with algae. When my younger sister in Canada developed breast cancer, she's fine now, but her oncologist advised her to change her diet to an alkaline diet. Didn't tell her why or what it was, so I helped her research what it was, which was a plant-based diet because of the chlorophyll and phytonutrients. So she did go through chemo. She completely healed. I learned about the power of plant-based nutrition. This was 12 years ago, and nobody was talking about plant-based nutrition like they are now. So I thought, gosh, somebody should tell the rest of the world about this, so I'm just a woman of action. I gave up my corporate career, went back to school, studied nutrition, got out, and then I started teaching plant-based nutrition. But I had an epiphany, which I'm sure a lot of people who are listening will relate to. The epiphany was this, that everybody knows they should eat more greens or more vegetables, but the reality is there's too many obstacles. They don't live near a grocery store, or they take too long to clean, to cook, to eat. Their kids won't eat them. Their husbands won't eat them. And the problem is everyone's getting sick. It doesn't matter whether it's COVID, cancer, heart disease, acne. It all comes from two main problems. One is that we're not getting the nutrients we need. And two, there are too many toxins in our body. So I started researching this issue. I found algae, which happened to be the most alkaline food in the world, the most nutrient-dense food in the world, endorsed by international agencies like United Nations, who says it's the answer to world hunger, and NASA. It's the most studied food. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry in Asia. It's an agricultural crop. It's no different than kale or broccoli. So I decided that I was going to try to help people be healthy by helping them understand what algae is, because it's just a type of vegetable, except it's so nutrient-dense. We sell them in little tablets. Each tablet has the same nutrition as an entire plate of vegetables, and you don't have to cook them, clean them, or eat them. Nothing. In seconds, you've got all the nutrition you need to keep you healthy, your kids healthy, remove toxins, everything. So it's the simplest, fastest, easiest, purest, nutrient-dense, science-based, toxin-free way to preserve, protect, and ensure your health. That's why I'm in the algae area.
So that sounds exciting. It sounds interesting. It sounds like something people would want to know and research more about. So algae, obviously it's easy for us to wrap our head around agriculture and sort of the land-based model of we grow our vegetables and our fruits and we kind of get that. How does one go about harvesting algae and turning it into a consumable?
Sure. Well, algae is everywhere in the world. It's in oceans, lakes, rivers, swimming pools, aquariums, and those are that algae is fine for the fish and the animals, but not for humans. The only two us humans should eat are the two that are sold everywhere, and they are called spirulina and chlorella, and they are harvested in quite a very common way. It's called hydroponically. They're grown in fresh water. We grow ours in Taiwan in triple filtered spring mountain water, triple filtered, which is important because algae will absorb whatever's in the water. So there's no big mystery except nobody's familiar with it here. They are in Asia. Like, it's quite normal to see a truck of algae on its way to get dried, just like here we see a truck with bales of hay or corn or whatever going to be dried. So it's not part of our vernacular, but it's just a vegetable, except it's a superfood. It's got all the nutrition that you need, and it doesn't require cooking, cleaning, or even eating if you take it as tablet form. So it is the easiest way to get what you need for any age group.
Very interesting. Algae tablets. I understand the history of you learning about the science behind the algae tablets and then, like you said, doing research on behalf of your sister and bringing them to market. You said you've been running the company for, I believe it was maybe 10 years. What was it like in the early days trying to essentially find the suppliers and the product and bring it to market? Something that, many Americans don't know all that much about.
Very difficult. And so anyone who is listening who is an entrepreneur, My advice to you is that you have to decide why you're building your company. You also have to decide whether it's primarily to just want a sales stream or whether you want to build a brand, because they require different kinds of approaches. For better or for worse, I have fortunate or challenging situation where I am creating an entire industry, literally, not just building a company. Now, I was up for the challenge. I didn't know it was going to take me quite this long, but so the things that I had to do are a little different than the average consumer or business person who has competitors. We literally have no competitors because the way we are doing this is different than the way anybody else has done. Hundreds of companies in America selling algae, and algae's been sold here for 60 years, but it's always been packaged poorly, not explained, weirdly packed, only available in kind of weird places. We're trying to make it mainstream. And also the quality's been poor. Most of it came from China, which of course you don't know what you're getting when anyways, I won't even go down that rabbit hole. So I had to find a way to teach myself everything. I knew I couldn't take venture capital because the venture capital, when it's in, and I've had it before, wants a fast win. They give you 5 years to meet certain sales goals. And if you don't meet them, they pull the money. They often pull the founder right out. And I certainly wasn't going to have that happen. So I had to batten down the hatches and know I was going to be in for a long haul. So I had to teach myself everything from package design to supply chain, sourcing, production. I had to learn how to build websites. Everything I've done probably 20 to 50 times. And we're finally at the point where the packaging is stunning. The website, we're just redoing the website. That'll be up in another month. It'll be really gorgeous. I had to redo my marketing strategy 5 to 10 times. Each time took me a year to recover because, you have to build the materials, you have to build the channel, you have to go to the trade shows. Well, there used to be trade shows. And so every time it didn't work, I had to regroup and pivot. And we finally found market strategy that worked, but it's an iterative process. When you're an entrepreneur, and you are building something, you are starting with a blank slate. And if you're creating an industry at the same time, it's even blanker. The best analogy I have come up with is, if you ever done a puzzle, let's say you're the one that bought the puzzles, you know what the puzzle box looks like, right? You know what the end product is. And so the entrepreneur, if you're a visionary like me, I knew what my end game was, and we're getting closer. We're not there yet. But when I dumped the puzzle pieces on a table, nobody else knows what it is. It looks just like a big mess. And when you start your company, it's a big mess. And it's hard to get people to participate because they can't see your vision. And most people are very impatient. They just want money. They want to get on with their life. They want to get to the next whatever. And if you're starting out, it's really hard. So it's your job as the entrepreneur to slowly but surely put those pieces of the puzzle together bit by bit by bit until suddenly the rest of the world can start to see the image that you've had in your head from the very beginning because you saw the puzzle box. That's what I've had to do. Another analogy is like I used to be in the planning industry, architecture, interior design, whatever. When you build especially a big building, there's a hole in the ground for probably 4 years. It looks like there's nothing going on. Trust me, there is. There's relocation studies, there's traffic studies, there's soil analysis, there's architectural designs, but nobody can see any action until the scaffolding goes up and you start pouring infrastructure. Yeah. By the time you get to about the 3rd, 4th floor, when all the good stuff like the glass and some of the whatever is starting to happen, people then start to get excited. It's no different when you are building you have to decide, I tell people you have to decide whether you're building a pup tent, which is a business that could be set up very quickly like an app, but it can also be blown over very quickly. Or are you building a skyscraper like me that's going to make a difference in the world? And that takes a lot of extra work, patience, time. I mean, I'm not suggesting everyone needs to take 10 years, but it's taken me 10 years. And I was on Shark Tank and they laughed at me. I didn't want their money anyways. I just wanted the visibility. But, you kind of have to zig and zag to get to your ultimate goal because you're the only one that knows the goal. Everybody else is just coming in briefly.
You made some good points for sure. I often get asked about, business and marketing advice from people with different companies, strategies in mind. They want to know what I think. For the most part, I rarely can say very much concretely. The only thing I know for sure is that it's probably going to take a while and it's an iterative process, which is that we don't know exactly what's going to work from day one, but we're going to try some different things. and we're going to try to see what works, and we're going to go from there. It sounds like that's been your experience as well. And perhaps maybe there's some other, what I would call inflection points in your business over the years that you can point to as, oh, this really helped us get to the next level and kind of get to where we are today.
It really depends also on who your market is. So when we first started, we were discovered by athletes. Triathletes, marathon runners, ultra runners, Olympic athletes. We had so many Olympic teams and athletes endorsing and using our products that I sent 2 of my team to Sochi in Russia during the Winter Olympics. And we had complete access to the U.S. Village and the U.S. Canadian Village because I'm Canadian. Anyways, the problem was the athletes loved the product. I couldn't get the sporting goods retailers to stock it because we sell them in large bags, but the retail product was a small pouch with 30 tablets in it that retails for $4. The retail industry, as everybody knows, has been hammered by Amazon. And this was like 6 years ago when the hammering just began. And all the retailers, especially sporting goods retailers, they wanted either just big brands like Nike or stuff that was like $5,000 like a bicycle, not a $4 item. So here's a situation where we had a great customer base. We didn't have the money to build our direct-to-consumer enough at the time. So we wanted a retail channel, and the retail channel just refused. So that was an inflection point. I thought, shit, I got to find a different market. And we had been just welcomed and to participate for free, in fact, at a chiropractic conference. They liked the product so much. So we went to that, and we immediately were understood, and we had no problem getting distribution and retailers because these were holistic medical professionals who had a deep knowledge of nutrition. And they had read the same science. By the way, I didn't mention, but there's 100,000 studies on the efficacy of algae. It doesn't matter whether it's preventing cancer or getting better sports performance or reducing heart disease or improving your energy focus, whatever. It's all science-based. There's tens of thousands of NIH documents. So the chiropractors in the holistic wellness community had been aware of algae for years, but they'd never had a high-quality product because it was all coming from China. So we do third-party lab tests. So we were embraced by the holistic wellness community. So I did a pivot. So we started going after the consumer marketplace / professional practitioner community. In order to do that, it meant that I had to change my packaging because the previous packaging, which had been targeted towards athletes, had athletes on it. So I had to redesign a whole new look for the practitioner community, and we had to develop a whole new strategy to reach them, which was through chiropractic conferences. And I had to hire a director of nutrition to teach the chiropractors how to use the products. So we became a wellness practitioner product for the last 4 years, and that's where we've been. And now we are embracing the beauty and the retail community. So I had to redesign the packaging yet again, because here's the interesting thing. When you're with practitioners in the sort of the pseudo-medical community, their most important issue is efficacy and safety. They want to know that for sure that it works and that it's safe. Irony is, in the retail market, the retailers care about packaging and branding. Quite honestly, they don't really care if it's safe. I mean, look at friggin' Red Bull's it's grown up to a $4 billion business, and they don't have anything that's safe, but they have clever packaging and branding. We're now doing a double marketing sort of pronged approach. We're maintaining our practitioner distribution process and growing it because it's our bread and butter. I design everything. I've completely redesigned all of our packaging. We've got all this gorgeous new stuff. So we're now having to learn what is required by the consumer and the retail community, which is jazzier packaging, better margins, case quantities when they place orders, accounts receivable. So my vision has never changed from the very beginning. I want to build $1 billion brand, and I want to make an impact on the world. Well, my priority is making an impact on people's health. To do that, I want to be $1 billion brand because when you're a big company, you have influence because you have a lot of money. I can fund research. I can give it away if I want to children's lunches and nursing homes, disaster areas. I want to grow as big as I can, but I have had to wait until the market was ready for something like this. They're ready now, and quite interestingly, COVID has helped that because now people are putting their health and their wellness as their top priority, which is what they should have done in the very beginning, but we aren't because we always like the shiny new whatever, whether it's the car or the holiday. and go to the medical community for drugs to patch up whatever's not working properly. Here's the truth. Your body will heal itself for you. You don't need the medical professional or all those drugs. But to heal itself, it needs the proper nutrients. And if you don't give it those nutrients, you're out of luck. Algae has all the nutrients, and so I've found a way to help people feel that it's normal and jazzy and safe and pure and kind of cool.
Again, a lot of learnings there from what you're talking about. So much comes down to the target market. You mentioned starting with athletes and then going to wellness practitioners and now incorporating beauty clients as well. And just how much flows from that, the packaging and the distribution strategy. And basically, if we do not know or have the correct target market in mind, all subsequent decisions may be based on something that is incorrect. And we're in for like somewhat of a painful lesson of kind of pivoting down the line. And now it sounds like you have, really kind of targeted in on who the early adopters for this product and been able to kind of grow from there. Am I summarizing that correctly?
Yeah. The sad thing is to get something right. I don't care whether you're a huge bank or Nike. Nobody gets it right the first time. In fact, they probably don't get it right for the first 20 or 30 times or even 100 times. Eventually they do if they keep going. When you're a small entrepreneur and you're just starting, there's a lot of pressure on you to get it right because you're going to run out of time or money or both. You have to decide whether you can keep doing it because reiterative process and the pivoting issue is the only way you're going to get to the, final destination. What I find with other entrepreneurs is you just get tired of rewriting and redesigning over. I can't tell you how many times I've had to rewrite our literature. I want to be sure, and then you have to reverse engineer everything when you make a new discovery. So a lot of people just stop, but then and then they blame the market and they blame somebody for not having success, and the blame is solely on you for not going one more step. I don't care whether you're an Olympic athlete or, a billionaire. It took lots of discipline and lots of work and lots of reiterations and lots of training to get to that one moment where things look perfect. It's just a hard work. And so you have to be passionate about what it is you're doing and why you're doing it. It's the only thing that will keep you going.
I think these are fantastic points. I know that a lot of entrepreneurs are used to, having to make pivots, and that wears you down. It wears you down over time, having to redo work, having to start a little bit from the ground up. And if you don't have a real, mission or vision for the company and the impact that you're trying to make, you're going to find it difficult to get through those challenging times. It sounds like you do, and that's what's kind of allowed you to persevere for these 10 years. So tell us a little bit about what's next for ENERGYbits.
Well, we're waiting for the people to be able to feel safe going out again. The retail market has just been hammered. We have conferences we're hoping to go to in the beauty community in June-ish, May, June. So that's when we hope to be discovered by some of the bigger retailers, whether it's Neiman Marcus or Sephora. And we're also starting to do PR. We did hire PR. Here's another example of what not to do. So we had the old bad packaging. It was fine for the athletes, but not fine for consumers. And we hired a PR agency, very expensive, to get us press. And we got nothing. We spent a year trying and we got nowhere. And it was because we had the wrong packaging and the wrong message. So I'm going to revisit that in the new year and we're also we're working with some companies in LA that are getting us in front of celebrities and movie studios. So we're starting to get the visibility. All we need are a couple of really important endorsements and some articles, and I think things will really take off because we have the packaging, we have the brand, everything else is now teed up. I am focused on the U.S. market, but the reality is I will probably have to start looking at China soon because it is becoming the most affluent marketplace in the world. And we have a high-quality product that is branded as a high-quality product, so it's not cheap. There's much cheaper algae, but you get what you pay for, let's face it. In a couple of years, we may have to address the Chinese marketplace, but so I'm keeping an eye on it. My goal is to build this into a global brand.
That sounds great. Well, I appreciate your realism, telling how it is about the life of being an entrepreneur and also needing to take care of our bodies and focus on nutrition. For people that want to get in touch, learn more about you and your brand, how should they do that?
Well, our website is the main place to buy everything. The website is ENERGYbits.com, ENERGY, B for boy, I, T for Tom, S for Sam. We sell them in large bags of 1,000 tablets. They're $120. Now, just keep in mind that don't have sticker shock with the algae. We're the only algae sold by doctors. We're only algae third-party lab tested. And there's so much nutrition in this algae that each one of the tablets are about the size of a baby aspirin, have the same nutrition as an entire plate of vegetables. So a bag of our algae tablets has the same nutrition as 551 pounds of vegetables that you didn't have to cook, clean, or eat. At $3 a pound, that would have been $1,600, and it's only $120. We have a 20% discount code that you can use on our website. It's How We Solve, all one word. So that'll give you 20% off. And if you're not ready for the big bag, if you're an entrepreneur, man, you should be taking the spirulina, which is called ENERGYbits because it gives you energy, and our chlorella, which pulls out toxins and builds your immune system. So you recover your health, or you recover from sports. It also pulls out lactic acid, alcohol, so you recover from anything. That's called ENERGYbits. You should be taking these every day. As an entrepreneur, we have no days off. As an entrepreneur, we have to work long hours. We need energy and focus. So the spirulina, take it during the day and afternoon. And the chlorella, which is ENERGYbits, take it at night because it'll help you detox when you're sleeping and will keep you healthy. I promise you, it will keep you healthy. But if you aren't ready for a big bag, you can go on Amazon, and we sell them in single servings. They're $4 each, as I mentioned. And you can go find that link if you come to our website and just click on single servings at the top. ENERGYbits.com. We're also very active on social, which is at ENERGYbits. Or you can go and find a retailer, and there may be a practitioner. We have hundreds of them nationwide. There may be a practitioner near you because we sell them in different packaging through the practitioners and spas now as well.
That's great. Awesome. Thanks so much for that summary, for your time today, Catharine, and best of luck to you and your brand.
Sure. Thank you so much. Thanks for helping other entrepreneurs. We're the ones that are going to change the world.
Is your sales team spending too much time researching leads and accounts? We take over all the labor-intensive sales development tasks so your team can focus on building relationships and closing more deals. We don't just build lists. We take a strategic, research-based approach to find your team qualified leads every day. Ready to start? Schedule your free consultation at taskdrive.com. That's taskdrive.com.
Thanks for listening to the How We Solve podcast. Dominate your market and crush the competition with our step-by-step playbooks. Subscribe right now in your favorite podcast player or visit howwesolve.com.